Welcome to this lightning talk on SAP CoPilot and conversational user experience and chatbots. So in 20 minutes, I want to give you a brief overview of what we're doing there and how you can integrate chatbots into the conversational user experience for SAP. So my name's Tom Reiss from the SAP Design, Product Manager for Fiori, and of course CoPilot and what are the user experience aspects. Okay, so SAP CoPilot, that basically is the digital assistant for the enterprise and also providing natural language interaction. And this is actually quite a big thing, if you think about it. Basically, the whole concept of natural language interaction with the system is going to be as big as, let's say, the introduction of smartphones when the iPhone came out 11 years ago. Now, it's just absolutely normal. The majority of all internet access actually runs via smartphones, and that just didn't exist 10 or 11 years ago. Similarly, I reckon in 10 or 11 years' time, it'll be absolutely normal that we all talk with our systems, have conversations, and we'll be looking back at now and wondering how could we have actually lived without it. So it really is going to be an absolute game changer, just like smartphones were, or even the introduction of the internet back in the 90s. So let me show you what we are aiming to do with SAP CoPilot, and then I'll come to the chatbot side of things later. So this slide shows what we intend to achieve overall with SAP CoPilot. Some of it is already reality day, some is still planned. So first of all, at the top you see on the right the conversational user experience, so that you can talk, interact with the system using it natural language rather than the graphical UI with a mouse and keyboard. Now that's only part of it, of course. You could scroll up, scroll down by talking. It becomes really interesting when you have the second part, the business context awareness. So that's where the digital assistant comes in, that it's aware of the context you're in and can answer questions that you might have, but also going forward, proactively give you basic advice or inform you about situations that need your attention, and then suggest even solutions. So the idea is there might be some kind of business situation, you get an explanation from CoPilot, and CoPilot could also give you suggested solutions or suggested actions, maybe even more than one, like I recommend this, but you could also do this or that. So that's the business context awareness. Self-learning, of course, is also something more in the future. Potentially, of course, be very powerful, a lot of potential there. Could be very simple things like you start a report at 4 p.m. every day, and one day it's 4:30, you haven't started it, and so CoPilot would just remind you, do you want to start this report? Or it could be far more advanced. Maybe you have a team of people working on invoices, and there's a new member in the team, and the invoice comes in with a certain discrepancy, not sure what to do. The new member asks CoPilot, what should I do here? And CoPilot could answer, well, your team typically deals with this kind of discrepancy as follows. So that would, of course, be a much more advanced kind of learning. And if you start thinking along those lines, of course, there are all sorts of opportunities for learning about your behavior, about the behavior of the team, of the company, and so on, and then bringing that to the user using the assistant. The next 2 points on the right here are slightly different dimensions. The cross applications is very important and powerful in that the ambition we have is that CoPilot is the digital assistant across all of our products. So if you need vacation next week, you just say, I need vacation, and CoPilot will take you to SuccessFactors. If you need to book a hotel, let's say in 3 weeks' time for a travel, you'd say, I need a hotel in 3 weeks, it would take you to Concur. If you want to look at your financial data or information, show me the current postings or something, that would take you to the S/4HANA system. You don't have to say, give me SuccessFactors, give me Concur. You simply say what you want, and CoPilot will take you to the relevant system. So that's, of course, a very powerful approach, and it makes the whole interaction much, much simpler and faster than if you have to log on to a system, find the right app, and I'll be showing you some demos later where you get an impression of that. Finally, open and extensible, and that's, of course, the focus of this talk, is about being able to actually build your own skills and also integrate chatbots into CoPilot. So the idea really is that you have CoPilot as your one digital assistant, and even if you've got chatbots accessing, for example, non-SAP systems, you can plug them into CoPilot and therefore have your one assistant giving you information about all your systems. This slide here kind of shows a little bit what I've been talking about. The top is very important because if you want to talk to your assistant, you don't want to have to go to the next door building if it was a person, right? Similarly, if you have a digital assistant, you want your digital assistant to be where you are actually working. So of course, if you're in the Fiori Launchpad working with an S4 system or an SAP system, then you have CoPilot available there. That's kind of obvious. What's also cool is we have a native mobile app, so you can have Copilot available wherever you are. Doesn't have to be at the desktop. These days, many people actually spend a lot of time working in Slack, collaborating with team members in Slack, working in Slack. So what we've also done is we're actually offering Slack as an access point. So if you can stay in Slack and chat with Copilot, you don't have to, even if you're at the desktop, you don't have to go to the launchpad there, open Copilot, then go back to Slack. We're also planning to provide the same kind of integration for Microsoft Teams. So Slack today is a beta. Microsoft Teams, we're hoping to start a beta in Q1 next year. And then, of course, finally, custom UI that you can also build your own apps and then integrate Copilot into that way. All the time, of course, with natural language interaction, could be spoken, or, of course, with Slack, it would be typed as a chat. Copilot itself, we have the digital assistant exposing these predefined, from SAP-delivered skills. You could also build your own. The ones we ship from S/4HANA, we have some skills. We're a beta already with some skills from SuccessFactors, which I can show you, well, in another talk later, the roadmap talk. And beyond that, the plan really is to provide Copilot across all of our products like C/4HANA, Ariba, etc. Then we have the skill builder, so you can build skills pattern-based on OData services using the annotations. You don't have to then define all the various sentences. That's all kind of out of the box from Copilot. You just map the intents that you want to develop to the OData service, and then it works out of the box. So that's a really efficient way of developing. What we also have, and this is the focus today now, is the bot integration. So if you want to build a freestyle bot, you can do that and then integrate it into Copilot. Using SAP Conversational AI. So we bought the company Recast AI a few months ago. That's now called SAP Conversational AI. And going forward, we also want to support you if you've built bots using other frameworks beyond SAP's Conversational AI. Finally, Copilot also actually has a collaboration feature, meaning you can chat and share the business context. So the insights you've gained from talking with Copilot, you can share with colleagues and share that business context. So that's why we have our own built-in collaboration rather than just saying use Skype or Slack or whatever you otherwise use for collaboration. So it's a powerful offering, and a lot of that already is available today. So let's have a look very briefly so that you see what it looks like at S/4HANA example. So I'm going to go to the desktop here. This is, I'm a sales employee. I can open up Copilot, and let's say I've made some offers to a customer, and the customer calls me and says, hey, I like the offer, I want to order it. So, you know, the quotation turned into a sales order. I can simply say, show me here, open quotations for top bike. So notice I don't actually have to say for customer top bike. Copilot actually knows the context here. So. And what I'm doing, I don't have to find the application. I say what I want. I've got the status open, the customer top bike. So I've got two filter parameters all in this one sentence. Here we see we've actually got a total of 4 quotations. It was in fact the $3,000 one that he was interested in. I can just simply say, create a standard order for the first one. And now basically, Copilot will actually take the quotation and convert that into a sales order, just very simply. You see here, before it actually does it, it'll always ask for confirmation, because especially if, I could have also spoken using the microphone. It's too loud here for that. Of course, if you speak, then there could be misunderstandings, so Copilot will always repeat what it's understood before actually updating the system. So here you see the confirmation. I'll just click on yes here. You'll see now that the sales order is actually created. And since we're on the desktop, I'll just show you a nice little feature here. You can get a sort of quick view of the sales order, and you can also, if you want, open an app, navigate directly to the app, and then continue working there if you wanted to. So that's just showing the power of Copilot on the desktop. Let me also show you about the Slack integration. So like I said, the idea is that Copilot should be where you are as a user. So that was just a launch pad. But of course, we're offering Slack now. We're working on Teams, and going forward, potentially, depending on demand, we might also provide integration to other Office suites, for example. And the important thing is this: by accessing Copilot, you're actually accessing all of the SAP systems. So you don't have to go and build a separate Slack integration for SuccessFactors and a separate Slack integration for Concur and so on. You just access Copilot, and of course Copilot then will access the SAP systems. So let's have a very quick look at what it looks like in Slack. So those of you familiar with Slack will probably recognize that. So this is Slack here. And what I could do, just for argument's sake, is a different use case. I'm an employee, want to order a headset, for example. I could just say, show me headsets in the catalog. And as you can see, I'm just chatting here in Slack, and now I get a list of the headsets that are in the catalog. You see, even with an image, so it's really quite nice. I can filter as well, so let's say show those less than 20 US dollars. And these skills here are built using OData services. So this is a pattern-based approach, and so there's one there, and I can, say order this, and simply order this one headset. I'm actually creating a purchase requisition, but that would not be very natural language, so I'm saying order this. I'm going to get then a confirmation request, of course, before it actually does something in the system. So here, this is what he's understood, create a purchase requisition for this cyber headset. I'll just click on yes, and then the OData service is created in the system, and we have the purchase requisition. So I can, if I'm working in Slack, I can stay there, just chat with Copilot, and there we go, it's been created. Okay, so now let's come to the extension part and how we can also integrate chatbots from other areas. So we have basically two ways to build a skill. I've already mentioned we have the pattern-based with OData services, or freestyle using SAP Conversational AI. And this kind of visualizes it. So basically, SAP CoPilot is where you consume, so what the user sees. If it's accessing an SAP system, then we recommend, of course, using the skill builder, the OData services with the annotations. But you can also plug in chatbots that you've built with SAP Conversational AI from accessing any backend. Basically what happens is we have an agent framework. You can plug in an agent for every chatbot, and when a user says something, that phrase is given also to these agents, and they have to come back with a confidence. How confident are they that that phrase is for them rather than for someone else? And if they're very confident, then they get to process the request. Going forward, like I mentioned, we also want to support other bot building frameworks beyond SAP Conversational AI. So both of these solutions are actually very complementary. So SAP CoPilot is the digital assistant and also the bot integration framework. Conversational AI has strengths, especially with this kind of machine learning, natural language understanding for building individual chatbots. With time, we also want to have this machine learning, natural understanding also integrated into the pattern-based approach. What's also important is it depends a little bit on what your consumer is. So who's actually going to be chatting with you? If it's an employee, the user experience of SAP products, so you accessing a business system, that's where we position Copilot. If you want to have, if you like, service and support, so supporting your consumers, so maybe a consumer wants to know about an electricity bill or something like that. You're not giving them a Fury app, you're not giving them a Launchpad, you're giving, they're going to be using consumer channels like Facebook or something to interact. That's where we position conversational AI for that kind of interaction. So like I said, they work together. This is a simplified picture. So if you're an employee, access Copilot either directly or via Slack. If it's an SAP system, then via the skill builder. If it's any other system, via conversational AI chatbots. And let me actually show you, give you an example of what this looks like. So here you see actually Recast. So the platform is still called Recast AI. That's the website where you can define different kind of chatbots. So we have one here for small talk. You can tell a joke and this kind of thing. So there's this ask joke intent, for example, and different phrases. So this is the difference with OData. You don't have to enter all these phrases. You get that out of the box. Here, if you're doing it kind of building a native chatbot, then you have to give in all those phrases. And let's now go to a system where we have access. So tell me a joke. Yeah, I always need to refresh. And this will actually now go to the Recast. And here you go. We've got a whole set of really corny jokes in there. Now, what I want to show you actually is I could also say something which is a bit more unlikely, like say, lighten up my face now, as a potential phrase for, tell me a joke. Copilot doesn't understand that. So basically, this Recast skill hasn't learned that kind of a phrase. Now, what I can do, if I go here into Recast now, what did I say? I said lighten up my face now, right? So I can actually add an expression, lighten up my face now. And you see here, if I scroll up a bit, you see it's now training. It's okay, it's already finished training. That went very quickly. So I should be able to now go in here and say exactly the same thing again. Lighten up my face now. It's got a disambiguation, so it's either ask, feeling, or greetings. Okay, that should actually be a joke. So All right. Okay, this is a demo effect. I didn't try that phrase beforehand. So, okay. So this is actually the joke one, as you can see. So basically, the idea is you can. I mean, it's accessing here exactly this this Smalltalk bot directly here from Copilot, just like you could also, if I do help, I can access also other OData-based. Okay, so that was showing kind of Copilot actually using a chatbot from Recast. What we have here on the roadmap is we already have S/4HANA 1808 providing skills, S/4HANA Cloud 1808 providing skills for Copilot. Also with 1809 on-premise, with Feature Pack 1, we're going to be providing skills as well. You can actually build your own skills already with S/4HANA 1709 Feature Pack 1, so you can use Skill Builder there. We also now have this integration with SAP Conversational AI that I showed you. That's already now available since 1808. We have the Slack beta now. It'll be continuing 1811. And with 1811 at the bottom you see here, we'll have actually speech to text. So I was typing in the demo, but you'll also be able to actually talk, use the voice input, and also get voice output. And then as you can see beyond, of course, we're going to be supporting additional products, also getting the GA for Slack, Microsoft Teams, potentially other products as well. And at the bottom you see here other languages. So at the moment we're supporting English only as the language for interaction. Mid to end of next year we're planning German and Spanish as the next languages, and then once we get those and understand how that works, then we'll very rapidly add additional languages beyond those two. Okay, so basically that takes me to the end of my talk. If you're interested in these demo videos, if you look in the featured blogs for TechEd, there's a video showing a demo and a video showing a demo of the skill builder. So one demo of using a skill, the sales skill, and another demo showing a skill builder as a video. So if you want to look at that, you can do that. And otherwise, thanks for attending.